Well, I'm not superstitious, but I have a story. I tried to find a shipwreck, and I think I found a shipwreck which was cursed. Also, the story goes there in Brazil where the ship sank. In 1800, two English ships came to the Bay of All Saints, Bahia, Brazil. They came in under the excuse they needed water and some repairs in the rigging, which was just an excuse because they wanted to go and do some illegitimate trade for gold and tobacco. So they got into the harbor, they anchored, they shot off their guns in salute. They didn't bother taking the cannonballs out of the cannon either to shoot their salutes. And unfortunately, one cannonball knocked down a small shack or straw house, whatever it was, and the straw fell on the fire, the open fire pit. The house burned and the child was killed in the fire. And apparently the mother of this child put a curse on this ship. And there was some complaints, and the governor told the captain to be more careful, and well, that was about it. Illicit trade for gold and tobacco started immediately. The governor put a ship, a custom boat, several custom boats to prevent the smuggling. As a matter of fact, they did the smuggling instead of preventing it. It went on for the whole day. The ship's officers tried to chase the boat away, and at one time the boat was alongside the English ship. The ship's officer took a cannonball and dropped it down into the boat for them to move away. And a few hours later, they must have taken that little open fire they had into the boat and thrown it into one of the gun ports of the ship. 2 o'clock in the morning, the ship was on fire. And it burned for several hours, drifted away, and after a small explosion sank. More than 30 people got killed by the fire or by drowning when they had to jump into the sea. The survivors eventually were packed on the second ship, and the ship left for India. They nearly got to India when a French pirate attacked them. And the French pirate had only 120 men, and on the ship were 450 soldiers, since there was the soldiers from both ships on it. But they were so cramped, and when their commander and captain was killed by a firebomb thrown by the French pirate, they surrendered. The French pirate took the ship and left people on the beach. That's the end of the story so far, that as we know. Going back to Brazil, Salvador, we let 100 years or so pass and nothing much happened. But then Greek sponge divers came to Brazil and started looking for shipwrecks. And one such sponge diver located this wreck and started diving on it. And as soon as he tried to pull up some things, they had an explosion. They had a steam engine to move their crane. And on the first cannon they tried to pull up, the steam engine exploded and the hot steam burned everybody. So that's where the curse got reinforced. People were saying, well, don't touch that wreck because you get burned. The curse is on it. Everything goes with it, gets burned. Well, I said it before, I'm not superstitious. So I just went to look for it. And I searched a long time. and an old fisherman one day came and offered his help. And he had big arms. He was rowing every day. He was rowing 5 miles out, fishing, and rowing 5 miles back. He had some burn scars also. And when he saw what I was looking for, he told me the story. And he took me to the spot and he said, "Be careful, there's a curse on it. I got burned. Everybody gets burned, gets involved with this ship. I don't want to know nothing of it," he says. So it took me quite a while diving on the spot he had shown me, because the ship was all sanded over. And eventually I had my position worked out, my place located, and I took a tree on a hill, on a church tower, and I lined them up. I made a little drawing of it. That's where the wreck is, this line, and then I had another range like that on a 90-degree angle, so I could sail to the place and look up my ranges and drop the anchor, and I was on the spot. And then one day I came out of the water, and my crew said, "Well, look at your range there." Oh, don't know what happened, but the tree had burned down. There was some bushfire and the tree had burned down. So one of the ranges was gone, so I had to change the range. And I took the marketplace with the palm tree. I forgot to say, the old fisherman had a range too. And it was so hard to find the wreck because his range wasn't accurate. One of his ranges had burned down. So again, he pointed to the curse, and I'm not superstitious, I don't believe it.
Yes.
So I got the location, I went to get the permits to work on it, get everything organized, got all the equipment ready, got the crew ready, and we set sail for the location again. We were sailing, nice breeze, sunny day like today, 100 miles from the coast, and I'm on the steering wheel and suddenly see smoke coming out of the bow of the boat. And I shout to one of the crew and he runs to the galley and he comes back 5 minutes later and he's all singed, his eyebrows are gone, half his mustache is gone, and he's really pale. He's also a bit black from the suit, but he says, "It's okay, I doused the fire." I had the bread baking in the oven, and with the movement of the boat we were heeling under the wind. The gas pipe got pinched between the hot oven and burned through, and the fire was, the gas was just streaming out and caught fire, and well, another 5 minutes and we would have been swimming 100 miles off the coast. There's no Coast Guard there. So I was never superstitious, but I thought, well, I got to be careful. So we got to our destination and we're really ready to go. And we set sail for the spot. It was just a mile away. And there comes a big cloud of smoke out of the engine room. And I run down and I grab a bucket of water. The engine is engulfed in flames, and I throw a bucket of water over it and a second bucket. And then I realize, well, I better take the fire extinguisher. It seems to be an oil fire. And well, it's extinguished in less than 3 minutes. Just push the trigger and that's it. And just a silly thing, the battery cable had made a short on the oil filter, burned a hole in the oil filter, the hot oil got ignited by the spark. Just a silly little thing, you know. But I should have taken it as a warning.